2010. The high precision and completely linear response coupled with high strength provides the ultimate in realistic steering force feedback. Visit simsteering.com.
Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. The GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels including Logitech, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.
Welcome to the Skip Barber 2K Cup, round 3 of season 4. We're at Donington Park Racing Circuit, live broadcast being brought to you by Apex Racing TV. My name is Lee Thompson, and joining me in the booth as normal on Double GT with the cameras as well is Alex Simpson. Evening, Alex.
Yeah, good evening, Lee.
We are looking forward very much to these little Skip Barber cars hurtling around this classic British circuit of Donington. They're using the national version, which misses out the extension at the Melbourne Loop.
Yeah, I think we've been here before in this 2K Cup, so it's quite an exciting race back there. If I'm trying to remember correctly, we used the full circuit last time, so
correct.
This the slightly shorter version should spice things up a little bit. Tricky chicane leading onto the main straight, so it'll be fun.
And you were telling me earlier, Alex, that last week's race, which unfortunately wasn't available for, was pretty good. Riku Alatello taking his second win of the season.
Yeah, great drive from Riku. More importantly, great pit stops. What won him the race, really. Bart Delat, something that he needs to work on way out front, really. And then, just a little bit long, a little bit too cautious with the button to stop the fuel in. And he lost the 3 or 4 second advantage that he had there, and ultimately the race.
Right, well, back to our live session that we've got running at the minute. The guys are on there, or most of them are on their second lap of qualifying, their second and final lap that they have available. Vinicius Rocha was the fastest car in the practice session leading up to this, and currently he was the fastest of his opening lap in qualifying with a 1:17.2. He's just coming over the line now to see if he can improve on that, and he does. So he now moves up to 1:16.873. So that was his final attempt, and it's just a matter of waiting for a moment for anyone else to come over the line and see if they can challenge.
Yeah, I think Riku might be done as well. Looks like he's crossed the line. 73 way down in 9th place, so it's not going to help him for the championship. Let's just have a look, see how that stands at the moment. So 105 points for Riku. Rocha, not a very good race really at Limerett Park, sitting back a little bit. They were tied in points, but 87 points for him. Philip Labour in 3rd place on 71. Bart Delat, even though he could have had that win and just missed out, but still moves himself up to 4th and almost on those podium positions. Just having a little scan through the table, it does look quite close going down. There's a lot of people competing in this series this season as well, so got a total of, when I get down to the bottom, 42 drivers into the series so far. I think we've got record turnout as well this week, so every grid slot full here at Donington, so it's going to be an exciting race.
Right, so qualifying is now complete. So congratulations to Vinicius Rocha for taking the pole position for round 3 here at Donington Park with that second lap that he completed at 1:16.8. Second position then was Conrad McLeod, 10th and a half off with a 17.0. Then we've got Graham Carroll in 3rd with Philip Labert in 4th. Brian Lockwood, a new name for us I think this season, in 5th with Bart Delat then in 6th. Ricardo Ferreira in 7th with Ricardo Ferreira in 8th. We've got Rafael Drazas in 9th with Riku Alatello all the way down in 10th position, so he's got a lot of work to do. We've got Fahim Mantonadez in 11th, then with Thibet Venice in 12th. Berkut Baratu in 13th with Rob Kane in 14th. Duncan Coppage in 15th. Will Fisher in 16th. Colin Cunniff in 17th. with Chris McGowan in 18th, Brian Dole in 19th, and Christopher Kroom in 20th. 21st is Tom Ward with Peter Cowan in 22nd, Christian Tanahato in 23rd, and Chris Simpson in 24th. Kartik Pai in 25th with Clive Armstrong in 26th, Phil Kirby in 27th, and Matt Hannigan, that's an old name from Formula 1 Pro Driving, in 28th with Mike McCormick in 29th, Ove Pearson in 30th and Brooks Lirritt in 31st, Rob Adams in 32nd, and the last qualifier to complete a time was Francesco Tonin in 33rd, 2 seconds off of pole position.
That's quite a grid there. Just look at how far back they go. It almost looks like some of them are at a bit of an angle here as well. So really not sure what's going on there. We'll have to see, make sure they get away cleanly in the background.
Yeah, and they are away. So round 3 of Skip Barber 2K Cup as normal. Most of the cars able to get cleanly offline. It's just dump the clutch in these cars, and they all tend to get away pretty evenly. Not seeing any immediate changes at the very front. So Vinicius Rocha heads into turn 1, a little bit wide in from Cameron McCall. So Graham Carroll's going to get a little bit of a run, trying to come alongside him now in 3rd position. He just about is hanging on there, but I think he's going to lose out as they head down into the first sequence of this lap.
Yeah, it looks like a good clean start. I haven't seen anything further back. Everyone looks like they're giving each other some room. Just goes to show this league, guys just getting more and more used to each other, and each week we see better and better races.
So we've got Vinicius Rocha making a little bit of a break for it at the front, then with Conrad Cow in 2nd, Graham Carroll in 3rd, Brian Lockwood then in 4th, Philip Labour in 5th, Bart Delat in 6th, Ricardo Ferreira in 7th, Riku Alatalo has made up a couple of positions already, is in the 8th, Ricardo Ferreira is in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 for now is for him, Antonides.
Yeah, Finn moved himself up 1 place as well, so good start for him. Perhaps just tagging onto the back of these guys. Just having a look. There's no real gaps formed at all in this pack, so it should be interesting to see how this plays out. According to the guys, this could be a bit of a slipstream track, but maybe not to the extent as we've seen other places.
Riku Alatalo, looking to get round the outside of turn 1 as Ricardo Ferreira tries to defend on the inside. Riku Alatalo tries to drive straight round the outside of him, almost interlocked wheels on the entry, but I think Ricardo's just going to get the drive and get the slipstream with Bart Delat ahead of him. Yeah,
looks like he's held on to that. Okay, it was a little bit close. Just looks like who was that in the background?
That's Ricardo Ferreira. Yeah, that's Ricardo Ferreira taking a trip into the gravel. Big runoff area there at least, so he's able to recover and get back on track, but way down the field now. We've got a little group of 4 cars just breaking away at the front. So Vinicius Rocha has got Conrad McCall right on his gearbox. Graham Carroll's just half a car length behind, with Brian Lockwood in that 4th position. Philip Labour needs to be careful that he doesn't lose contact and lose that big advantage of the draft.
Not really sure what's going on, but it looks like we might have lost some paint, so we're just trying to update those frantically. So just bear with us while we do that. But that was close under braking there. Getting very close to Rocha there, but in the end just has to sacrifice a bit of speed through that apex.
Big accident in the background, Alex. So I think that is going to be scroll back, but yeah, big contact. I think for him, Antonides, I think goes into pit lane, and I see now the other car going into pit lane is he'll get the name in a second.
Is it Tybert?
It's Tybert Vinis. So I think it was contact between the 2 of them there. And Tybert had a big roll into the barriers, but luckily
just
right on pit entry.
Having a little look at this back actually on replay now, side by side going into the chicane. He just catches the curb on the inside there. Nothing really going. They were side by side. They left each other enough room.
We've sorry to cut across, Alex. We've got the leading group battling away. Graham Carroll now has moved up into 2nd position. Brian Lockwood trying to follow him through into 3rd. So Conrad McCall now has been relegated back into that 4th position, and we've now got an 8-car group with Vinicius Rocha just breaking away ever so slightly at the front.
Yeah, that gap just split the main pack apart. Colin Cunniff now sat in 9th place, 4.3 seconds behind. So, friction racing driver, we know Colin Cunniff quite well from the GP260 series. He had a bit of a shocker, I have to say, at Lime Rock Park last week. So
Bart Delat makes a move on Philip Labour. So Bart Delat now moves up a spot. That puts him into 5th position, relegates Philip Labour into 6th. He's under pressure now from Riku Alatalo. So Philip Labour hugs the inside white line. Rico Latello's going to have to try and go around outside again like he did on Ferreira a lap or two earlier, and he takes a little bit more space on the entry and isn't quite going to get the drive off, takes a little bit of grass, but Philip Leibert's just about hanging in there for now.
Yeah, I think he's going to have the high ground. He should be able to hold it there, even though we'll lose a little bit here. He's going to have the inside. Oh, no,
he backs off, gives him space.
Just settled in for it and thought perhaps not worth fighting at this point. So perhaps he feels like he could benefit from following Riku and coming under pressure himself now from Ricardo. Ricardo straight up the inside. So I'm wondering if Leibert's got some problems there.
Yeah, I think you're right in terms of it would be pretty sensible just to try and sit in Alatello's wheels and let him drag you back up to that front group, but as I said, maybe didn't quite work out for Philippe as he had planned. So Vinicius Rocha still on that first position with Graham Carroll then just moving around slightly in second. Brian Lockwood is closing in the slipstream in third, Conrad McCow in fourth. A little bit of a gap then back to Bartolat on his own, and Rico Latello trying to close that gap. Yeah, Vinicius Rocha, Alex. Vinicius Rocha takes a massive chunk of grass on the exit, loses a big amount of momentum as they head onto the front straight. He's going to be down into third position heading into turn one now. So Vinicius Rocha very wide on the exit. Tries to come back into second, late on the brakes, but I think Brian maybe is going to get the drive off the corner, and Vinicius may struggle just to hang on to this second.
Yeah, Brian was the fastest guy around that time by as well, so trying to hold it around the outside line. Rocha, I think, is going to concede. No, he's not. He's still there, but I don't think there's anything he can do to hold on to it. Leads out wide, forces Conrad there just to take to the
and Bartolat opportunist going around the outside of Conrad. He might follow through, and now does make that move. So he's up into fourth position, just tucked in behind Vinicius. Great little bit of opportunist driving there.
I have to say, all this little bit of squabbling between these guys is letting Riku slowly close back up. Just 1 second separates the two packs at the moment. I have to feel that might be close enough for him to pick up a little bit of draft, but he runs a little bit wide himself there. Doesn't help. Just jump in further back. Colin Cunniff, Tom Ward, Friction Racing guys just breaking away from the 11th, 12th, 13th and back, as it appears there's massive train of cars further back. Keep an eye on that, but no one's really making too many moves at the moment.
Yeah, Conrad McCow comes back on the inside of Bartolat as they head into turn one, so Bartolat gives him a little bit of space. Might get the drive off the corner, but it looks like Conrad has got that pretty well covered, and Rico Latello now definitely just getting a little bit of that draft effect, I think, from Bartolat.
Yeah, gap down to 0.7 of a second, so just what he needed. He had to close back up. It was important that he kept that gap. Couldn't afford to lose this pack and let them run away. It had been very tricky for him. We saw last week he only just managed to win, and that was through a great pit stop. He'd had to have done it all again and jumped 4 or 5 guys. I'm not sure that would have been doable.
Yes, this is a real nice little train of cars now. We've got heading from first all the way back to 8th position with Philip Leiber at the tail of that still. Looked like Ricky was a little bit wide coming through the last corner there, so he might just lose him that bit of momentum, but nothing major turning out. Bartolat just trying to cling on to the back of Conrad McCow still as they head through that very fast chicane to miss out the Melbourne loop and back over the start-finish line again. Oh, and spin in the background, that was one of the friction cars, was at Colin Cunniff, who was in 9th position. I see him spin coming out of that chicane, so perhaps he had a bit of a
Tom Ward
well.
It was. So, yeah, Tom Ward recovering down in 16th place. Let's just have a quick look at that back on replay and see what happened there. Jump on board. Looks like an unforced error. He's got his teammate behind him at the moment, but not really putting any kind of move on him as he turns in. He just takes a little bit too much speed in there, and he catches the second sausage curb, and car just does not react too well to it at all, and yeah, all the drivers just stream on past.
Looks like Rico Latello had a little bit of a problem either at the end of the last lap or beginning of this one. He's dropped way back now from Bartolat, and Ricardo Ferreira has managed to move up into 6th position now, so they are going to struggle to get the last glimmers of that draft effect as Ricardo feels the need to go defensive from Riku as they head down this back straight.
Yeah,
Oh, here comes
1.7
Riku.
seconds.
Late on the brakes. Can he slow it down for chicane? He can't. It clobbers that sausage curve you just talked about. Almost spins like you saw Tom Ward do a second ago. And they're going to be almost free wide now, heading down the front straight. Ricardo Ferreira has to back off a little bit. Philip Labour might just get the run. But yeah, Ricardo Ferreira tried to brake late as he possibly could, and just way too late in the end.
Yeah, Riku the same. He was lucky to survive. That car was all out of shape there, and I have to say, Ricardo had to get out of it. Otherwise, he could have ended his race very quickly there. So good reactions to save that for sure.
And they're still side by side as Philip Labour and Rico Alatello for almost half a lap now, being alongside each other. It looks like Philip may just be able to hang on to this. He's got the next left sweeping corner. Ricky will struggle, I think, to hang around the outside. Tries to come back at him, but Philip Labour has got the corner, and Ricky Alatello has to finally concede. So yeah, great bit of wheel-to-wheel driving there between the two of them. Philip Labour takes that position for now.
Yeah, what that has done is they're now 4.2 seconds behind this lead pack.
And yeah, the lead pack, Alex, sorry, challenge for the lead. So Brian Lockwood goes for that inside move that we saw Alatello do into that final chicane. Graham Carroll breaks early to try and get the drive out the corner. That might work quite well. He might be able to get a run into turn one. So yeah, Brian Lockwood took over the lead. Graham Carroll trying to pressure him back into turn one, but it's not going to quite be enough this lap. Conrad McCall, so I said it's not going to quite be enough. Graham Carroll makes a late move. I thought they made contact as they almost interlocked wheels, but Graham Carroll dives back up the inside of turn one. I thought he was going to just sit there, but it didn't happen. And yeah, Graham Carroll back into first.
Yeah, Brian Lockwood from the Club Florida obviously competed in the World Cup of iRacing finals. Great to see a couple of American clubs in there. Florida and Texas made it in there, so obviously one of their road racers that represented them. I assume.
And so these lead 5 cars now, pretty much nose to tail. So Graham Carroll and Vinicius Rocha recovering from his trip over the grass earlier on in 3rd position. Bartlett then right there in 4th with Conrad McCall looking to push forward. He doesn't want to sit in his 5th position, it seems, as he's all over the back of Bartlett. And then Rico Alatello is leading that next chasing pack of Philip Labour and Ricardo Ferreira.
Yeah, we must have missed Riku getting back past Philippe there. I want to touch on some battles a little bit further back as well. We've got Duncan Coppage closing in on Rob Kane, and there's a good 3-car pack with Chris McGowan, Christopher Kroom and Burker there as well. So it's there's a lot of individual battles going off. Oh, crazy close between Clive Armstrong. Oh, and there's a spin there. Huge mistake. I'm not sure. Was that Tom? Who? Oh, that's Christian Tatton. No. Sorry, Christian. Murdered your surname again. You know we always get it wrong. Or I do anyway.
And he instantly disconnected. So he had decided enough was enough there, I think. So this is such a fast circuit for these little open. That final chicane.
Keep losing you for a moment there, Lee. Not sure what's quite going on your end there, but it just keeps cutting out.
Sorry, hopefully that will be a bit better now. But yeah, very fast circuit this for these little cars. So the slowest point seems to be this last chicane here coming onto the front straight, but even this is pretty open, and he gets to use that a lot of curb there. Cars sliding around well, so not surprising that we're seeing these long trains of cars sitting in the draft.
Yeah, it seems to be that final chicane is much like Montreal. You can follow. We've got a spin a bit further back. Who was that? That's Colin Cunniff, I think. Yeah, it is Colin. He's having to wait for the traffic, backs it up in the end so that he can recover. That's lost him so many places, down in 17th. He had a shocker last week at Lime Rock Park. It's not going according to plan here at Donington as well. Finds himself 19th after all the cars have gone through, just 2 places ahead of his teammate Matt Hannigan, who seems to be struggling a little bit.
And meanwhile, Philip Labour tried to come back at Rico Alatello, who was alongside heading into turn 1, but wasn't quite able to make the move stick. So that little group of 3 are still squabbling away hard. Back at the front, Graham Carroll still leading from Brian Lockwood, then Vinicius Rocha, then Bartlett, then Conrad McCall. We are on lap 11 of 31, so we're not going to be that far away from these guys starting to consider when they want to be making their pit stops. But with this big draft effect that guys seem to be having, then you would think nobody wants to be the first one to come in.
Well, yeah, you'd think that. I mean, unless somebody feels like they can run a little bit faster. I mean, Rocher's stuck in 3rd place. We've seen him pit in numerous times, a little bit earlier than the rest. So I'm wondering if perhaps he might think about jumping in just a lap earlier, see if he can break away from these guys ahead.
And Conor and Macau was thinking about making a move into turn 1. He tried to stick his nose up the inside. Bartolak just gave him a width of the car just in case, but wasn't quite able to carry the momentum in that Ferrari liveried car, and has to sit back in 5th position for now. Very, very wide for Graham Carroll, exiting that fast right-hander there. Big chunk of dirt and grass on the exit, but didn't seem to really lose him a huge amount of momentum.
Yeah, Conrad getting very close there, just on board with him now. Has a little look going up the hill, but nothing coming this time. Very tricky when you're 4th person, 5th person in this group to get any kind of real run on the driver ahead. You're kind of just waiting for a mistake more than anything. Looks like
really. Sorry, Alex.
Starting to pull away 1 second ahead of Ricciardo and Philippe. Those guys have had a little battle this lap, and Ricciardo's found his way past, and could be a bad thing for those guys. Although they're just within the 1 second window, so they might still be picking up a little bit of draft from Riku there.
Yeah, and Conor and Macau still looks to be the car in this lead group who wants to be moving forward. He's right on that gearbox of Bartolak again as they come through this first half of the lap, but maybe just lost a little bit of time, good car length perhaps just through that sequence there.
Yeah, just trying to check in a little bit further back as well, see what's going on. Looks like a good 4-car battle here between Colin Cunniff, Peter Cow and Matt Hannigan, and they've just dropped a little bit further back from Brian there as well. Oh, who's that sideways? That is Matt Hannigan, giving it large around there and failing miserably. So looked mighty impressive. I thought he was going to save it at one point, but yeah, the back end around she comes, all the way down to 27th place now for Matt. As I said, he's having a doozy today.
And the lead cars are all closing up down the front straight again. Conor Macau is going to be making a move this time on Bartolak as I head into turn 1. He takes the inside line quite early. He's going to try and break it late as deep as he dares. Completely alongside. Bartolak will try and get the drive out the corner. Conrad maybe gives him a slight squeeze on the exit, but a good car's width at least. And they're still side by side now heading to Craner curves.
Yeah, it was a good run. He got a great lap last time. It actually come up on screen as fastest lap of the race, so great lap from him. He does make his way through. Good, solid drive there. Bartolak very fair as well, gave him the room so that those guys could continue. They're still within the draft, which I guess is all important for those two.
So Rico Elatalo looks to be a little bit in no man's land now. He's just peeled away from Ricardo Ferreira and Philip Labour, who are still squabbling between them hard. Back in 9th and 10th position, then it's a battle between Rob Kane and Duncan Coppage for that final spot in the top 10. Just a couple of car lengths between the two of them.
Yeah, Duncan Coppage, we haven't seen too much of him this season, but yeah, you know, a good driver. Was in the top 10 last season, if I'm not mistaken. Just trying to see where he is in this. He is down 22nd place at the moment in the championship, so he needs a good, strong result here for sure.
Ricardo Ferreira, first of the lead cars to make what is presumably his scheduled pit stop. So he is in at the end of lap 15, and I'm seeing a second car peel into the pits now as well, which is Chris McGowan.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Lee, but I think that might be a bit early. Just lap 15 and 31. I mean, he could probably, I assume really he could make it, but I would have expected the guys to have gone perhaps to about lap 20 today.
Yeah, the pit window that we are expecting is from lap 14 to 17, that sort of region. So he's it's the middle of there, end of lap 15. But yeah, first of the lead cars to blink. He perhaps has decided he doesn't want a distraction of Philip Labour all over his gearbox. He thinks perhaps he can go a bit quicker without him.
Now 14.9 seconds stop. Comparing that to some of the others out there, it looks like it's about on pace. Let's keep an eye on what some of the others do, because we know sometimes Ricciardo has struggled with pit stops.
And be interesting to see if any of the lead group do dive into the pits this lap as they look to cross the start-finish line. Again, top 5 all continue through for at least another lap. And Philip Labor decides not to respond either, so he continues through. So all of the top 10 cars continue through for that lap as well. So Graham Carroll still leading from Brian Lockwood in second, with Vinicius Rocha right on the gearbox of Brian there in third. We've got a little bit of a gap then back to Conrad Macau, trying to tow Bartlett back up to those top 3 cars.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened to those guys. A little bit of a slow lap time the last couple of. I know they had their little battle, but they were still close in contention. But yeah, 1.3 seconds. They're out of the draft at this point, and need to really bang some laps in now to get back within that.
We've seen in these previous races how big a difference a bang-on judged pit stop can make. So even if you ended up a couple of seconds off, then you've still got a good chance of being well and truly in the hunt. So any of these top 5 cars still have got a very, very good shout of getting certainly on the podium, if not the win. It's probably going to be a bit much to ask for Rico Alatello, having dropped back a little bit from that group, but he certainly may be able to close. Graham Carroll, I think, into the pits here. He took a tight line through that final chicane. Everybody except Brian Lockwood dives into the pit, so that'll be very interesting to see how that turns out. Rico Alatello also looks to come into pit lane, and Philip Labor continues on. So it's going to be a race of the pit crews now, as Vinicius Rocha and Graham Carroll almost pit together.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on this. Let's see how quick Riku is as well, because he caught up about 4 seconds last week, so that would get him very much.
Vinicius Rocha's got a big gap. Bart Delat's going to jump Graham Carroll. Is he not quite? Graham Carroll just barely hangs on to second. Vinicius Rocha is definitely the winner there, and Rico Alatello, well, he's going to lose a bit as these guys accelerate, but he's not going to be a million miles back from Conrad Macau. So Vinicius Rocha has gained a good, what have we got, 3-4 seconds perhaps there? Maybe a little bit more even.
Yeah, let's look at the times now and just see that. We've got Rocha on an 11.3 second stationary stop there, so that is by far the quickest out of that. And then we got Graham Carroll with 16 seconds, so crazy length of time there. Bart Delat 14, Conrad was 15.8, Riku 14.7, Ricardo was 14.9. I'm mighty concerned that Rocha has short-fielded his car.
Brian Lockwood has pitted from the lead, so we are watched to see where he comes out in relation to those battling cars. Philip Labor has also followed him in, and so that's all of the lead cars now in. So Brian Lockwood stationary in his pit box. Where are those leaders coming through? Vinicius Rocha just coming through the final chicane now, and Brian Lockwood still stationary in his garage. He pulls away now. Vinicius Rocha coming down this front straight. Vinicius is going to have the edge over Brian. He's going to be a couple of seconds ahead, but I think Brian's going to get in this second position fairly comfortably.
Yeah, Brian, like you say, fairly comfortable, 14.5 seconds, so pretty quick stop for him compared to the rest of the field. Philippe Labor as well, 13.3, so that was a good stop from him. He comes out right back on the tail of Riku there, so jumped Ricardo in the pits, I believe. Those guys were having a bit of a squabble, so but 3 seconds clear of him now.
Yeah, that worked out well for Philippe there, because Rico Alatello had definitely broken those two before the pit stops. He had pulled away significantly, so yeah, Philip Labor done well to get back in a draft. So Vinicius Rocha is our provisional leader once any remaining pit stops sort themselves out, with Brian Lockwood a couple of seconds behind in second. A further couple of seconds back then is Graham Carroll with Bart Delat with close company. Conrad Macau then is in fifth, with Riku Alatello in sixth and Philip Lobert in seventh.
Pack has spread apart a lot now. It looks like also Duncan Coppedge got the best of Rob Keane there as well in the pits. There's still well, there isn't 9/10 of a second separating them now. That looks just a little under half a second at the moment, but did manage to jump him. 14.4 compared to 18.3. So why he's not like a mile up the road, I don't know. Oh, a little bit out of shape into the final chicane there. And who's that? Is that Chris McGowan having a little look? It is indeed. On the left hand side, is going to have to go around the outside of Rob Kane here if he's going to make this move stick. We've got Christopher Kroon behind, just watching what's going on. He's got Barber there behind him, just trying to avoid any trouble. Looks like the guys just find themselves into single file pretty quickly, and as they were, Chris McGowan not able to pull that move around the outside.
Yeah, that really looks like being our main battle for the moment. So we've got Rob Kane in 10th, Chris McGowan in 11th, Christopher Kroon in 12th, with Duncan Coppage just a couple of seconds further down the road in 9th. The lead group of cars who we've had battling away all race long so far have just been blown apart a little bit by the differences in the pit stops, so we'll wait to see how that settles down.
What we need to do is keep an eye on Roger's lap times fairly closely and see if he's backing the guys up towards him in an attempt to save some fuel. We've seen Sebastian do this last season, just took a little bit too little fuel and had to ease it off, a lot of lift coasting into some of these heavy braking areas just to try and save that fuel. So let's keep an eye on what he does on his lap times. 16.6 last time, so that doesn't look like he's sticking around for anyone.
Yeah, he was more than 0.2 of a second quicker than Brian Lockwood, and he was the fastest of all of the cars, certainly in that lead group, so I dare say fastest on track.
We have a little look at, I think that was Rob Kane on...
that marker, I think, so Mike McCormick just trying to come past. I think they've been trying for a lap or two now, so Mike McCormick is maybe making life a little bit difficult for these guys, with him being a lap down at the moment. So Rob Kane just about manages to get up the inside, and the guys now, Christopher Kroon is going to try and follow him through, and Christopher Kroon just about following him through, and Chris McGowan has got through as well.
Yeah, certainly didn't make that easy. I wonder if there'll be some post-race chat about that. So I'm not sure exactly what Fleet's done with the rules actually on the blue flags, or whether it's just as it is in the sporting code, or if got to move out the way. That subject seems to be coming up a lot recently, Lee.
Yeah, I think it's just normal iRacing sporting regs as far as I know for this season. Blue flags are purely for information, and it's the faster car's responsibility to get past. But maybe there's a little bit of give and take in that as well. You've got the group of cars battling away hard. Perhaps just leave them to it and watch them driving around, have a bit of entertainment for yourself, watch them squabble away. Right, so back at the front, Vinicius Rocha still the banging in a 16.6. Brian Lockwood managed to match him that time, just fractionally quicker in fact. Bart Delat, very, very fast lap, 16.4 for Bart Delat, so he got past Graham Carroll on that lap. I just missed that. Conor McCow is a little bit in no man's land then in 5th, with Rico Alatalo not able to drop Philip Labour at all, so Philip is doing a good job of hanging in his draft, and not just hanging in there, but looking like he could be trying to pressure and make that move up. Then we've got Ricardo Ferreira all the way back in 8th position, and then we've got this battle we were watching a minute ago, Duncan Coppage just a little bit ahead in 9th, then we've got Rob Kane 10th, Chris McGowan 11th, Christopher Kroon in 12th, all very close together, as Chris McGowan takes a slightly different line from the other two as they head back towards the final chicane.
Yeah, let's just stay with this battle for the moment, just watch what happens through there. We've seen quite a few mistakes through that final chicane when these guys have been in close battle, but everything nice and safe that time through. But we just who have we lost there? Is that no, just someone into the pits? I thought we'd lost someone there for a moment. Someone was dropping off my timing screen. Bart Delat 1.5 seconds behind Brian Lockwood. I think those guys are slowly catching him up. Brian at 1:17.0 last time by. A little bit of back marker issues ahead of him, so that's not helping him consolidate his second position. But Delat's coming. We know how quick he is, and he could well try and close back up and get this P2 spot.
Yeah, Bart Delat seems to be improving race on race almost with his pace. You said he had a good chance of the win last time out, and that's been a big improvement for him since the Skip Barber 2K Cup first started, where he was perhaps a slightly more of a midfield runner, or certainly that's how his race results turned out. So good to see him fighting well and truly at the sharp end with these quick guys, and it's impressive to see Brian Lockwood, of course, in the second position as well. So again, that's a new name for us in this series, and he's able to mix it with these regulars, these seasoned Skip Barber 2K drivers, and they're also dealing with that pit stop
Graham Carroll, massively
well.
wide. Sorry, Lee, there to interrupt you. Just saw him in the background there. Didn't lose too much time. He's still well within the draft of Bart Delat there, but yeah, very lucky there.
Yeah, and it looks like Brian's lost a little bit of time on this lap as well, so it's almost now Bart Delat has got to the back of Brian Lockwood, so it's almost a little three-car group battling for, well, one of them's going to miss out, aren't they? There are 3 cars there battling for the last 2 podium positions.
Yeah, last time by, actually, Bart Delat set a new fastest lap of the race again, so he's absolutely flying out there right now. Just picked up the slipstream of that back marker quite nicely down the back straight, I think, and closed right in, and bit of a scruffy chicane there for Brian Lockwood, and he's right under the pressure again now.
Yeah, it looked like Brian took a big chunk of exit of apex curve, and he easily could have had a sideways moment like we've seen a couple of the other cars do earlier on in the race. So yeah, this well and truly now is a little 3-car battle, and it'll be interesting to see if Bart Delat and Graham Carroll manage just to breeze by, because they've been significantly quicker for the last few laps.
Rocher's pace is slowing slightly, but only by about half a second a lap, so he's able to maintain that gap to Brian. But so I wonder if there is a bit of fuel saving going on there at the moment.
Yeah, so here comes Bart Delat. He's making his intentions clear straight away, driving right up to the gearbox of Brian. Just about manages to get himself slowed down in time as I head now to this back straight. Graham Carroll runs a little bit wide on the exit, but manages to keep it all straight and true.
Just having a quick look further back, we were watching, actually no, we haven't touched in with these guys actually, Clive Armstrong, Will Fisher and Brian Dole there, what were they, 15th, 16th and 17th, good little battle, just seemed to have spread apart actually, just as I clicked to them, they were quite close, just separated by 10 seconds.
So that little battle, Alex, so Bart Delat tried to go around the outside of, go on the outside on the entry to the chicane, let's get my words out, but it didn't quite work out for Bart Delat, so he's been relegated back into 5th position. Brian Lockwood and Graham Carroll side by side into turn 1. Graham Carroll's just about going to get the run through the crane of curves, I think, and Bart Delat's tucked well and truly into his slipstream, tried to follow him through, but Brian Lockwood's having none of it. So 2nd position for Graham Carroll, 3rd for Brian Lockwood, and Bart Delat being relegated to 4th after his ambitious move on the outside of the chicane.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how this race plays out. Get the feeling none of them are giving any quarter out there at all. So it's going to be an exciting finish. Just 7 laps remaining in this race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see as well now if Brian's able to match their lap times now that he's got that draft effect as well. I see in the background Philip Labour trying to go alongside a fault there to Rico Artello, but he didn't quite get the drive out the corner, so he's to tuck back in. So nothing doing there for now. But yeah, this is the battle that is going to be raging for the remaining 6 laps of this race. Bart Delat looks to go up the inside, brakes much later than Brian Lockwood. Is he going to slow it down in time? Just about manages to. Doesn't take too much curve. Brian Lockwood should get a good exit out of that chicane. I think he had the better line going in. So Bart Delat defends hard as they head into turn 1. Brian Lockwood tries to go around the outside as they hit onto the brakes. Now Brian Lockwood going to try and carry that momentum on that outside line. He's just not going to quite get the drive through that corner, didn't manage to carry the apex speed, I don't think, so Bart Delat manages to cover that off, and Graham Carroll just has a slight bit of breathing space.
Yeah, and it looked like Graham Carroll got a little bit out of shape going into 1 there as well, so but managed to collect it back up rather quickly and wasn't able to get jumped at all. He's got a back marker ahead of him at the moment, just slide him up a little bit. Yeah, to the left, almost right on the apex, very tricky, but having a little look into the right-hander here before we come into this uphill blind right-hander before the back straight.
Vinicius Rocha had a very slow lap last time by, so whether that was just from that same back marker as or whether he is in now fuel-saving mode, we will wait and see, but he was caught pretty significantly that last time by. Bart Delat in the slipstream of Graham Carroll. He's going to try and go around the outside of the chicane again, like he tried to do 2 laps before. Doesn't work at all. He gets all out of shape. Big trip across the gravel. He's going to get a slowdown penalty there. He is now going to struggle to keep that draft effect with Brian Lockwood. Probably not a bad idea keeping his foot in here in the draft, and then assuming he must have got a slowdown penalty, you would think he's now going to back it off as he comes through the twisties.
Yeah, would you get 2 sectors to serve that black flag slowdown penalty? He doesn't look like he's slowing down.
No, I'm very
too
surprised.
Much, though, so
somehow perhaps he's either pushing his luck, or more likely I think somehow he didn't get a slowdown penalty. He must have just gotten off track. So very, very surprising there, but very lucky for Bart de Laat. So Graham Carroll's just got this bit of breathing space again. He's a good second and a half ahead than a Brian Lockwood in third. And yeah, Bart de Laat well and truly keeping his foot in. No slowdown penalty, it seems.
Yeah, Roger on his own as well into the 17s. No traffic that time by, so definitely a major fuel slave mode, I think, now.
It seems like maybe the lap times for everyone has dropped off a little bit. So Ricky Olatello is the only car that time by in the 16s, it looks like, with a 16.8. Philip Labour was down to a 17 that time. And with the squabbling between Brian Lockwood and Bart de Laat, here comes Bart de Laat again. They were all in the 17s as well. Bart de Laat around the outside of chicane. Brakes a little bit earlier, pretty sensibly that time. Brian Lockwood takes a big chunk of curb on the entry, and I think Bart de Laat's going to get the drive out the corner. Yeah, Conrad closing on these guys as well, just a 1 second behind now. Desperate to pick up that draft, but Bart de Laat squeezing
back
Brian ahead as well, coming out the pit lane as a back marker, so we'll see how this turns out. But Brian Lockwood manages to cover off the line. Bart de Laat tries to cut back, get the inside line into the Craner curves. He's almost got his wheel alongside. Now he's completely alongside. He's now got the high ground for this next right-hander coming up turn 4. Doesn't quite manage to hold the drive through previous corner. Brian Lockwood covers it off. So yeah, Conor and Macau is definitely in with Bart de Laat now, and Reku Olatello and Philip Labour not much further back. No, just 2.6 seconds back of those guys now, so they're coming. And I think if Roger up front is having to save fuel, although back into the 16s that lap, so I'm not sure he is now. He might have done what he needed to do, just a couple of slow laps. Still a chance for any of these guys to have potentially got it, but I think he might be safe now. Chris Simpson looks like he's sensibly going to move out of the way, it seems, as he takes the inside line come up chicane. He does, very sensible driving there. Bart de Laat following. Oh, I thought Chris Simpson was going to go into the back of Conor and Macau briefly there, but no, he got it slowed down fine. So yeah, this is the battle heating up. Graham Carroll has broken away, so now it's between Brian Lockwood for that final podium spot, Bart de Laat then in 4th, and Conrad Macau in 5th. Roger runs just a little bit wide. I just thought I'd very, very quickly just jump on board with our race leader. He's not had too much coverage today. See if he's doing any sort of lift coasting or anything like that into the corners. Yeah, it doesn't sound like it too much. Seems to be pushing it pretty hard out there, so he feels confident that his fuel levels are all good. Bart de Laat looking to go alongside Brian Lockwood, tries to go around the outside through these fast left-handers. He's going to struggle, I think, to keep the apex speed, but he's got the inside almost for the next right-hander, but just has to bail out of it. Almost worked for him. I was quite impressed he managed to carry that extra speed around the corner to travel that longer distance. Yeah, great move there. That's just I'm not really sure who's going to take this final podium position there. I think any one of these 3 guys could have a pop at this. I think especially with that main overtaking opportunity being this chicane they're coming into now, that last gasp attempt, and we've already seen it's easy for these guys to have a little bit of a dive and risk everything going in. Vinicius Rocha is into the pits, Alex, so he did short fuel. There we go, you called it bang on. Vinicius Rocha decided not to try and fuel save, he just kept it going and had to make that pit stop. So Graham Carroll takes over the lead, and all of a sudden Brian Lockwood now is battling for 2nd position with Bart de Laat and Conor Macau. So now we're back to those 2 podium spots available. Yeah, that's what can happen. You need to cut sorry Alex, Conor Macau up alongside Bart de Laat as they come through the Craner curves. Conor Macau has got the inside line, he's up into 3rd position, and he wants to carry that momentum now and get up alongside Brian Lockwood as well. So he's almost managing to make 2 positions in half a lap. They're almost 3 wide, Alex, as they're halfway around this lap, but Conor Macau's got the inside line now for this next right-hander, and he makes 2 spots work very nicely, carried up momentum from the first overtake. Yeah, great driving there, up into 2nd place now.
It's not just the final podium position that they're fighting for now. Let's just have a look how far Riku's back. 1.9 seconds. Just I think it's going to be too much to try and gain in a couple of laps. Bart Delat looked like he was perhaps taking it a bit easy down that back straight. Wonder if he's close on fuel as well.
Side by side, Conrad and Brian Lockwood managed to fit 2 cars through that very, very fast chicane. I wondered if one of them was going to have a bit of a struggle on the curbs, but they got away with it. 3 wide, and Rico Alitalu's not much further back now. Conrad McCow on the inside, Brian Lockwood in the middle. Bart Delat giving loads of space on the outside, so close between Conrad and Brian. Bart Delat's going to try and drive straight around the outside of both of them. He might get one of them, I'm not sure if he's going to get both. Side by side now with Conrad. He, I think, is going to be on the outside for a last sharper corner at the end of this turn 4. Conrad McCow might just about be able to hang in there. Bart Delat's trying hard. What a great little last couple of laps here. Bart Delat has a big sideways moment. Don't collect anyone. Bart, very unlucky for Brian, and the back marker Chris Simpson as well. 3 wide for a good portion of that beginning of the lap there. Big sideways moment for Bart Delat. Tried to catch it. Very unlucky for Brian to get collected. Rico Alitalu could get 2nd position. Philip Labert could come 3rd.
Yeah, Conrad's still holding on to this at the moment. He didn't get any damage or anything, and managed to miss everything. So let's just jump on with our leader though, as he's coming down the back straight for the final time here at Donington. Through the chicane,
I'm going to shout out as Rico Alitalu, sorry Alex, tries to go around the outside of Conrad McCow into the chicane as well. Philip Labert tries to get in there. Philip should get a decent drive out the corner. I think the start-finish line is going to be too early for him now. And Conrad McCow just about hang on to 2nd. Philip Labert, podium I reckon. I think he got Rico on the line. Yeah,
we'll have to wait for the official standings to come up.
Yeah, I think Philip got him by 200ths of a second.
Well, I have to say it's still a pretty decent result for Riku. Beat Rocha in the end. Rocha managed to finish in 5th, so showed he had great pace out there to bring it home and get that position, considering he had that extra stop.
Wow, what a end to the race there, Alex. Those last 2 laps were pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it really looked like Ricky was going to have a shocker out there today. No better than 5th or maybe 6th place, and in the end finds himself, 4th place, wasn't it, in the end?
Yeah, but just still missing out on that podium spots was Riku there. So great finish to the race with so many changes. So we lost Vinicius Rocha as we did wonder, having short fueled after his pit stop. So Graham Carroll did well to break away from that battle. 5 or 6 laps before the end of the race, he managed to make the most of that and leave the guys behind to squabble away. So great win for Graham Carroll there. Conrad McCow in 2nd, managing to hold on off Riku and Philippe at the end there. Philip Labert saw that final chicane developing. He saw the move that Riku was going to try and make, held back just slightly on the approach maybe so he could get the run out the corner. Worked out for him. Rico Alitalu in 4th, finishes Rocha then in 5th. Bart Delat recovered to 6th. Duncan Coppedge in 7th with Burka Beirut in 8th. Christopher Kroom in 9th. Chris McGowan in 10th. Brian Lockwood in 11th. Tom Ward finished in 12th with Rob Kane in 13th. Brian Dole in 14th and Colin Cunniff in 15th. Clive Armstrong in 16th and Will Fisher in 17th. Phil Kirby finished in 18th with Brooks Lyote in 19th. Ove Pearson in 20th. Kartik Pai in 21st. And the last car on the lead lap was Ricardo Ferreira, so he must have had an issue somewhere in the second half of the race that I think we must have missed because he was running quite in the top 10.
Yeah, another driver, I think he had a relatively... no, it wasn't. It was only 14-second stop as well, so... Yeah, I wonder if there's a few guys perhaps just took a little bit too little out there, but I think Rocha knew pretty much straight away that there was no way he was going to make it to the end, so he decided just to go full speed and try and build a gap up to the guys behind and see where he could come out. And in the end, actually, 5th place is a good result considering what happened there. Got a couple guys down in the ready for interview channel, so let's have a quick word with Philippe first, because he put a great move on that final chicane.
Yeah, hi Philippe. So it looked like pretty much a race-long battle between you and Riku and Ricardo Ferreira for a good chunk of it as well. Congratulations coming out on top of those 3 cars.
Yeah, thank you. It was a it was a fun race, especially at the beginning with Rico. I don't know. He was very aggressive with Ricardo. So I usually don't attack him, but when he does that, I can join the fun as well. So we had a great battle up to the pit stops.
And that final lap there looked like you were sitting that, planning that out quite nicely. It seemed you could see Riku trying to make that move on Conrad there at the end. Just held back a little bit maybe on the entry to that chicane to make sure you got the drive up to that finish line.
Yes, exactly. I've done a few races like that this week, and it always works when two guys are battling for the chicane. You can almost catch them both. Well, get them both at the exit. So that was pretty good. I don't know what happened to the front runners like Bart and Brian, but that was very scary because we just made it through.
Yeah, it looked very, very close for everyone. So yeah, those guys were battling free wide, and there was no contact initially. Just Bart the Lat had a bit of oversteer coming through. I think it would have been turn 2, was it? And just unfortunately collected Brian in the process. So nothing untoward, just unlucky racing incident for the two of them. Yeah, congratulations on your podium spot. Probably a little bit unexpected with 5 or 6 laps to go. You probably weren't seeing that coming, but yeah, great result. Where are we up to next week, Philippe?
We're at Road America, and I've never driven there, so that's going to be very interesting for me.
Yeah, be a bit tricky in these cars, I think, with the different elevation changes and long straights, big opportunities for drafting. So that would be a fun race. It's a long track for these little cars. Be long lap times.
Yeah, that's what I heard, and yeah, it's going to be a game of chess again, I think. And also the weather will be different because people wanted to have random weather from now on, so that's what we're going to do. They won't know the weather before practice starts. So.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so mid-season change. That'll be interesting to see how everyone able to deal with that. Might be interesting that we'll see who spends the hours and hours during the week practicing again and again, and who maybe is going to lose out a little bit then with that unpredictability. So that'll be good to look forward to. Congratulations again on your podium again, Philippe, and we shall speak to you no doubt next week.
Yeah, thanks, and see you next week.
Right, so we'll have a quick speak to Rico Alatalo now, just about missing out on that podium spot at the last gasp there. So, evening, Riku. I'm sure you were not expecting to be fighting for the podium there on that final lap.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Kind of mixed feelings about the race, because on the other hand, I'm happy to finish fourth and in front of Vinicius, but considering that this is a track that I did probably 5 laps on before the session, not even in the Skippy, but in the IndyCar. So yeah, I had no clue about the track, so I had like 45 minutes to practice, and I got faster throughout the race as that went on as well. So in that case, it's happy that I finished fourth and stuff like yeah. But then I could have gotten easily second if I didn't give way too much room to Victor in the last corner. So kind of disappointed in that, and that would have given me more points than Vinicius, which now is not the case, since he got 3 points less than me for finishing 1 place behind me, but he's gonna get 5 extra points for pole, so he's gonna get 2 more points than me from this. So, but I was considering this as my drop week, so I guess that went well in that case.
Yeah, definitely like yeah, good recovery from what could have been a little bit of a tougher situation. Philippe tells us that the series next week is going to be at Road America. Ricky, that seems like a big track for these little cars. How do you think that's going to be?
Oh wow! If the drafting was so big here, then at Road America it's probably gonna be all 30 cars the whole race together. It's ridiculous the amount of draft there is. So I guess that's gonna be one of the tracks where the pit lane is everything. The pit lane is long as well, so that's gonna be annoying. But yeah, it should be just a draft fest and everyone staying behind each other in the draft, and yeah, that's what's gonna be, unfortunately. So, but the last lap battle is gonna be interesting then. But
yeah, we'll look forward to seeing cars 5 wide coming out of that final corner, then heading up the hill to the start finish line.
yeah, that's what it's gonna probably be like. probably should test if it's gonna be better to come out second in the final corner or not. If you can pass, I'm pretty sure you can pass the guy in first before the start-finish line if you're second.
Yeah,
That's
pretty long run.
Yeah, that's another annoying part. That in order to win, you have to actually be second in the race, actually.
Well, we'll see how that strategy turns out next week then, Riku. So congratulations on your 4th position in damage limitation, and we shall see you again next week.
Yep, see you guys, thank you.
Right, so that will be wrapping up our broadcast then of the Skip Barber 2K Cup round 3 from Donington Park. Yeah, Road America in the Skippies, Alex. So I think Riku's got it right. I think it may be a close race, but maybe not a huge amount happening until the fireworks in the last lap or two.
Yeah, exactly that. I think it is going to be a close race. I think it's going to be a game of chess, as Philippe mentioned there as well. So just going to have to see how that pans out. I'm just looking at the championship table now. One advantage of us doing it via the live website doesn't look quite as good as our stand-in screen from last season, but we do get up-to-date information almost straight away. So you can see the gap now at the top of the tables, just 11 points. What am I talking about? I can't count for the life of me. 21 points. Yeah, so just closed up a little bit there as Riku was mentioning there. So not a disaster for Rocha, but still would have wanted a little bit more. Philippe there as well. Good result from him. Obviously closed up on both of those guys on 113 points. But Delat had good potential to close in on Philippe and Riku and Rocha as well. But yeah, just that little mistake. Wonder if he was just thinking about this race and nothing more. He's definitely got a chance for the championship, but yeah, perhaps just forgot what was going on with the greater picture there, I think, or the bigger picture. So Christopher Kroom, Clive Armstrong moving themselves up a little bit. Kartik Pai all the way down to 8th place now. He had an absolute shocker today. So Duncan Coppage up to 9th, and Graham Carroll with that result moves himself into 10th place.
Okay, so thank you very much for those updated standings. We shall see everybody next week for Road America, and as the guys have been telling us, we'll look forward to those fireworks in the very final lap. Remember, you can find Apex Racing TV on Facebook and on Twitter, so feel free to make contact, and we shall see you all guys again, same time again next week, Sunday, 9 o'clock GMT. Thank you to Alex, and I have been Lee Thompson.
Absolutely incredible! Ding dong, are we going to see a race now? And into the pit lane. What's the strategy going to be? Bingo! It's my